Welcome to Tech at Scale. Every week we bring on an incredible guest to help you grow as a developer. I'm your host, Corey Darby, and this is another episode of Tech at Scale. Hello. As you heard on our new intro, I'm your host, Corey Darby, and this is Tech at Scale. This is the coffee and dev version of it. So we essentially have our coffee here with us, and I talk about a little short topic, usually in a span of about 15 minutes. And we grow as developers in the time it takes to drink our coffee, typically. So I run this every Monday and Friday. Hope you enjoy the content. I stream it on Twitch and YouTube. Smash the like button, subscribe, because I want to get to 100 subscribers on YouTube so that the channel can have a customized channel name so it's not all gibberish, so I can actually tell people to go to YouTube/C/ like Tech at Scale instead of like, I think it's like UEWQ, like it's some gibberish right now. So if you like the content, smash the button and we'll jump right into this. Just want to drop it that. There we go. Today's topic is on developer mental health. We had covered a prior video on Tech at Scale talking about developer burnout. This one's just more broadly focused just on mental health for developers. I didn't know this, but 1 in 4 adults in the US suffer from mental health. And obviously as developers, it's not that great because we have the scenario of isolation all the time. When you think about writing code, you're not usually paired up with someone. Sometimes you can be paired, but most of the time you're not paired. And that can be very isolating. And the other thing is, think about writing code and how we write code and how we want to write code. Single responsibility. So if we want single responsibility and we want these teams that are able to take ownership, you almost self-create isolation in just somewhat a good development practice. So, it's easy to find yourself in a silo where you and maybe someone else are really the experts of something, and you don't have to spend a lot of time collaborating because you don't have any other dependencies on another team. You're just responsible for your component. Your component is just over there, and you might be great at producing work, but you're not really interacting with many people. Sure, you're going to stand up. Sure, you're saying what you're working on. Sure, you have retros, but are you engaging in other conversation? And it's very easy to find ourselves, especially with this work from home mentality, of removing the social contact from work. And then if you don't have a strong social group setting outside of work, you really find yourself just waking up, going to your computer, doing your work. Maybe you go out for a run, do your exercise, come back, watch Netflix, and repeat, or browse through whatever social media, and it's not very healthy. So I'll say, spend more time. Spend a little 5 minutes water cooler with your team, your coworkers. Chit chat a little bit more, because it's all kind of tied. If you're not doing it and you're like, yeah, but I'm a hermit and I like that, it's fine. But you need to find a balance to what works for you. You can't be 100% just like, I'm only writing my code, like I put on my blinders, don't talk to me. Because after a while, you're gonna realize, like, well, one, it's not good for your development progression because you're isolating. So you're not getting your feedback as quickly as you should. Like, yeah, sure, you're getting feedback on pull requests and when you're showing code, but it'd be better to have a sounding board, someone to talk to earlier on in the process. Easiest way is you're doing a little chit chat. Hey, how was your weekend? Blah, blah, blah. And at some point near the end, oh yeah, I was working on thinking about this new pattern to implement. I've never seen it before. Have you ever heard of XYZ? And the other person, oh, I've never heard about that. Well, can you show me what's it look like? Boom, you have a conversation. You're not so isolated in just your component anymore. So I will say that the next thing is to realize that the work never ends. Okay, development's really bad for this on the mental health aspect. There's always going to be more work. There's always going to be another priority, and you will work yourself to exhaustion if you think that it's not going to end. So you have to find a good balance of saying, you know, where's my I don't want to give 100%, even though it sounds weird saying like you don't want to give 100%. If you're at 100%, you're allocating all your energy and everything to task X. And in the short term, you're able to do that, but in the long term, 100% is not sustainable. It's just like, think about running. You know, if you ran 100% of your capability all the entire race, you're not going to get through the entire race because you're going to burn out your energy in the first like couple of kilometers or whatever, and then you're not going to be able to sustain that for the rest. So you know, as a runner, you're going to be like, okay, what is sustainable? Okay, at 65%, I can sustain the entire marathon. So I should do 65% the entire way because I'll sustain an average of blah. Doing this burst and then decrease and burst and decrease, it's not great because like it's not an average of sustainability. So you want to realize that your work's never going to end and to find a spot that is sustainable for the long term. I've seen many developers on teams I've worked on, under teams, like through me, and different companies, different industries, and a lot of times they will go full all out, 100% or 150%. They'll burn the midnight oil. They'll go over the top, and you're like, oh wow, this is great. This person's so productive, blah blah. And then 6 months to 2 years, all of a sudden they're like, yeah, I'm switching jobs. And you're like, why? And whatever the reason may be. But when you sometimes, not always, when you really dig down deep, you realize that, oh, this person has burned themselves out and they are looking for something different because they want to slow down that pace or they want to remove that burden from them because they've set an expectation so high of what their output is. To be able to like reduce it takes a very hard conversation with your manager and going like, listen, I know that I've been performing really, really high and up here at this level, but I need to go down to be sustainable. I can't sustain that because that is just exceeding what is fair for my responsibilities and roles and what I'm being paid for. And, you know, I think it's a lot of times I see is people don't want to have that conversation and they realize it's just easier to pack up their bags and move to a different company. So just realize that it all ties into your mental health, right? Like if you're taking care of yourself mentally and physically, you're able to sustain a lot longer work period before totally hitting burnout. So as I say, you got to take care of yourself. You know, you need to find time to just decompress, you know, take a vacation. You have to truly disconnect. So you need a plan in place to be able to go to your boss and say, like, look, I'm taking a vacation in the middle of nowhere with no cell phone reception and I'm in a log cabin. You don't actually have to do that, but you need to use a credible threat of that. You know, once you say that you're not going to be reachable at all, you have no internet connectivity, people are going to say, okay, well, we need a plan because you're not going to be here. Great. Okay, these are the people you need to contact. This is the procedure. This is what would happen if blah, blah, blah. So this way, nobody needs to reach out to you. The building can be on fire and they've already got the credible threat of thinking that you're unreachable. So they're not going to reach out. They have a plan. You've left them with a plan. And that's great because that means you can actually mentally check out on your vacation and not being worried like, what happens if something happens when I'm not there? No. The company and your coworkers and your boss have already assumed that you're not going to be reachable. You've already said you're not reachable. So there's no reason to sit there going, oh, what happens if X, Y, Z? No one's going to contact you. You already told them you're not reachable. So it's as the equivalent of you just turning off your phone. Now you can actually decompress and have a real vacation. And this is important. Like, people say it and people don't realize, like, you gotta just leave the work. You have to fully forget it. Because this is the only way that you actually spend time reflecting and looking inwards and figuring out what's working, what's not working. Have you hit your limits? Have you not hit your limits? If you're just constantly like, go, 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 there could be a problem building up and you're not even aware of it because you're just constantly going. So that's all I have today to say about developer mental health. I hope you enjoyed this. It was a short copy and dev. And until next time, adios. Don't forget to click the subscribe and like button, smash everything, and that's it.